Hello and welcome to Excellence in Customer Care, the Numerical Difference. I'm Sarah Blance, the Marketing Coordinator here at Numeracle, and I will be your MC for today's webinar. Today, we're going to explore something that's at the very heart of what we do at Numeracle, and that is trust, integrity, transparency, and accountability in customer communications. As leaders in the industry, we're not just solving the problems and challenges of today. We're innovating for tomorrow, empowering businesses to protect their brand identity, deliver unparalleled customer experiences, and proactively combat fraudulent activities. Our commitment to our clients transcends technology. We collaborate across the industry, shaping policy, establishing best practices, and fostering an environment where genuine connections are made and thrive. Our mission here is to drive standards and ensure a trusted and secure ecosystem. Of course, none of that would be possible without our client engagement team. This team is more than just a support system. It is the backbone of our commitment to building trusted relationships with our clients. Representing the team today, we have Natalie LaFerriere and Ali Visaki. Natalie's 22-year journey in large BPO contact centers took her from a passionate director of operations to a senior director of client services, focusing on dialing strategies and client relationships. As Numeracle's director of client engagement, her unique blend of experience and zeal for refining processes has been instrumental in our success. Natalie is not just a leader, she is a driving force for improvement and exceptional service. And Ali Visaki is our standout customer experience manager at Numeracle. From her game-changing integration of Salesforce during her 14 transformative years at Comcast to the foresight and passion that mark her as a genuine industry trendsetter, Ali's professional voyage is nothing short of inspiring. With nearly 2 decades of integrating sales and operations seamlessly, she has continuously broken the mold, setting new benchmarks for excellence. Both Ali and Natalie embody the spirit and values that set Numeracle apart in this industry. Their passion and expertise are key in crafting tailored experiences that are aligned with your needs. And today, we're going to get into exactly how they do that. Welcome, Ali and Natalie. Thank you so much for coming on to share your insights with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Before we dive in here, I just wanted to let our audience know today that they can submit any questions that they have throughout the webinar via the chat or the Q&A feature. These will both be anonymous or anonymous to everyone else. The hosts and panelists will be able to see who they're from. And we'll address these at the end, time permitting. Of course, if we can't get to it, we'll take the chat offline and connect with you in that way. So let's get right down to business, shall we? As I mentioned, we'll be taking you through Numeracle's comprehensive customer relationship roadmap today. And where better to start than at the beginning? So Natalie, let's start with you. Let's say I'm a brand new client. What can I expect when I enter into an agreement with Numeracle? And how does your team set the tone for the relationship right at the start?
That's a great question, Sarah. And the customer journey really does begin on day one, as soon as that agreement is signed with Numeracle. So our onboarding team is notified right away. We're getting you out a personalized onboarding package, which is going to include all the details you need to get started and a couple of documents that we need from you. Those are our trusted entity paperwork, our number list, and all the details on how to complete those. So we're going to hold your hand through that entire process so that it's seamless for your team. And you'll notice that the primary requirement is that trusted entity questionnaire. And this does really go above and beyond basic KYC. And this is really critical because we're a priority partner with the analytics engines. And this is one of the things that set us apart. And it really allows us to fulfill our promise to deliver authenticity and trust in all communications. And to be frank, it's a vital part of who we are.
So it's clear that getting things started on the right foot is a big deal for Numeracle. I mean, trust and guidance from day one, sign me up. It's not an easy promise to make, or I should say it's not an easy promise to keep, a very easy promise to make. It's clear that you take this process very seriously. So Ali, can you tell me what the onboarding process looks like and how long does it typically take?
So once our team has received all the documents needed for the onboarding process to begin, there's roughly a 24 to 48-hour window for our team to complete the trusted entity certification. Think of it as laying the foundation for everything to come. Once the certification is established, you're now ready to build your entity profile in the portal and load your numbers to be sent for registration, which can take up to about 3 weeks. During that time, we'll reach out to you to set up your full portal training launch call, which includes your number health check.
Wow. So we are really moving and grooving through this onboarding process. And it sounds like once you get through the trusted entity certification, it only gets easier. So Natalie, can you tell me how your team addresses challenges that come up? I mean, in a perfect world, there would be no hiccups, but of course, every now and then they do come up. What makes Numeracle's process so unique in ensuring a smooth transition for clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. And Numeracle's process really is unique. We go above and beyond to prioritize onboarding. You have a dedicated onboarding representative working with you through the entire time, having various meetings with your team. And, we might be working with someone from finance or legal or operations to get all the information for that trusted entity paperwork. And then we might also be working with somebody on the telecom team or the dialer side of things to get everything we need for the number lists. So honestly, we're happy to organize as many touch points as needed throughout the process, just to make sure that everyone's up to speed.
And that's what I love about Numeracle. It's not just across the board and everything that they do. It's not just about ticking boxes and filling out forms, right? It's about building relationships and understanding the unique needs of each business. And it's clear that your team isn't just going through the motions, but truly investing and making sure everything fits just right for each client. I'm wondering, Allie, can you tell me about how, like within the portal, how my entities and numbers are organized? Is it an intuitive design? Will I need a manual, training? What does it look like in there?
One of the things we're most proud of at Numeracle is how user-friendly our portal is. That was an intentional development decision. We wanted to create something that not only does the job, but also enhances the user experience, making it as intuitive and effortless as possible. So with that in mind, we've organized it into 3 main sections. Your entity section, which houses all the details about your business. The number management section, which does just that. It allows you to add and organize numbers by profile or group. And lastly, the visibility section. So this is where you're going to see the current health of your numbers, remediation results from any numbers we've sent out to be reviewed by our partners, any public FCC complaints, branding dashboard information, and lastly, our number check feature, which will give you real screenshots of how your numbers are appearing across the ecosystem.
Wow. And having everything organized and accessible in one place, I think not only streamlines the whole process, but also really builds confidence in the whole platform. So it's like, no wonder you're receiving so much positive feedback. I'd love to talk to you mentioned the launch call and health check. I'd love to get into that a little more. Natalie, can you explain the launch call process and how it's facilitated?
Absolutely. The launch call is awesome. It's really our opportunity to dive into how the portal works, introduce our team to you, and have our onboarding representative host the call who you've already worked with. Then they're going to introduce you to the Numeracle CRM team and your dedicated client engagement team member. So on the call, we're going to go through a detailed look on how to use the portal. The portal is designed to be self-service. It's an incredibly simple tool, yet very powerful. But we're going to show you how to do things like load your numbers, delete your numbers, manage those number lists. And then we're going to show you some of the cool features that we have that Ali touched on, like the remediation dashboard, number check, FCC complaints tool, and that branded calling dashboard. And then at the end of the call, your client engagement rep is going to do a first review of your current number reputation. So we call this a health check. And as part of that, we're going to review the carriers, how they work with the analytics engines, the labeling ecosystem, dialing strategies and tips for your entity. And then at the end, we'll answer any questions that you have.
So I'm sensing a theme here. It's really refreshing to see that Numeracle doesn't just hand over the tools and run. I would love to, Allie, I'd love to hear from you on maybe what a detailed strategy call might entail.
So the detailed strategy calls are a special part of our relationship with our clients. So unlike some services where you may only hear from them when there's an issue, we're proactive in reaching out. We'll schedule these calls throughout the year or whenever you need them. This is Numeracle acting as your consultant. We'll review your number reputation, we'll dive into your dialing strategy, and share industry best practices. But it's really not just a one-size-fits-all approach. We are going to take the time to understand your unique business and customize the discussion accordingly. Whether we're going over a new feature in the portal or answering specific questions your team might have, these calls are more than just troubleshooting. They've been transformational for many of our clients as we leverage our background in contact center operations and sales to guide you in helping you make the best possible decision.
And I really want to highlight the focus on understanding each client's unique business needs and offering tailored guidance. It's not something that we hear about every day or even see people execute very well. It seems like these calls really emphasize collaboration and partnership rather than just problem solving. So it's more proactive than just reactive, which I find really interesting. As consumers ourselves, I think we've all experienced the frustration of being ghosted by a company as soon as an agreement is signed and payment has been made. Natalie, what are some of the key elements of Numeracle's ongoing support that ensure clients always feel attended to and valued?
Yeah, and Sarah, we really do take this issue to heart. We do not want clients feeling like they've signed up for a service and they're just left out there hoping that it's working for them. We take time to make sure the clients know that the service is working, know how valued they are. So we have a variety of ways that customers can get in touch with us: email, support ticket, phone call. We're honestly willing to jump on a call at any point in time. We have those detailed strategy sessions that Ali was mentioning. And honestly, one of the best features is you don't even have to log into the portal. You're busy, you don't want to be thinking about this every day. So every week we're going to send you out a health check snapshot showing you where all your numbers are. And if anything changes on any of your numbers, if they move into spam territory, you're going to get a risk rating alert email letting you know, and also letting you know that our team's on it. You don't need to lift a finger. We're working on it for you. And there's many other ways that we focus on keeping in touch with you as well, through newsletters, Tuesday talks, podcasts, and webinars just like this one.
So what I'm hearing is it's impossible not to get in touch with you. And you don't just talk the talk, you walk the walk. And I really appreciate that. So moving on to the next phase, I'm onboarded and I'm actively using Numeracle's self-service portal, but I discover that some of my registered numbers are being mislabeled as spam. Ali, what are the steps that I have to take as a client to remediate those numbers?
So this is something we know can be a really big concern, but here is what sets us apart. When a numbers rating changes, we'll automatically handle that remediation for you. We'll actively monitor, work directly with the carriers to request that the number be properly rated again. You can always check the status of the portal if you'd like, but the beauty of it is there's no action required on your part. If you do ever come across a mislabeled number from another source, like a call center rep maybe, just shoot us an email and we'll jump right on it. We want this process to be as stress-free as possible for you.
That is a tremendous relief to hear, especially in an industry where things are changing so quickly. And, I'm sure, like you mentioned, Natalie, this is the last thing that folks want to dedicate their time and resources to, right? Knowing that Numeracle is actively working behind the scenes to correct issues without any action needed from the client is welcomed assurance. It's like having an extra member on your team just constantly watching out for you. So tell me, Natalie, how does your reputation management solution integrate with other services offered by Numeracle, such as number check, smart branding, or the FCC Consumer Complaints data feature?
Yeah, and Sarah, full reputation management is really a holistic approach. It doesn't just include one lever that you turn on, but it does begin with the most critical, and that is the reputation management. So protecting your calls against fraud and scam labels, preventing blocking, and keeping over 99% of your numbers free of spam. We start there, we get everything cleaned up, and then we layer in those other features that you mentioned, like number check, branded calling, FCC complaints data, and those features will give you even more control over that full reputation of your brand. And just to dive into number check a moment, you can see that up on the screen there. Number check's an incredible tool. So this is going to allow you to visually confirm your identity on demand. So we often hear the term real-time monitoring, And we have all sorts of data to show that real-time monitoring is just not accurate. We'll share the link at the end of the show with the math behind that. But what Numeracle is offering is different. You're not just paying high-end fees for monitoring. This is even better. So you can check how your numbers look across all the major carriers with real screenshots, and you can see those up on the screen there. Plus, if anything comes up on those screenshots, if you see a spam label, you don't need to take any action because we will immediately be sending that out for remediation. So we're not just presenting you with the data and leaving you out there to figure out what to do with it. If there's anything that appears on it, we're going to send it out right away without requiring intervention from you. And also, we're going to help you understand and interpret what's displaying in those screens. So if there's information that doesn't look right, but it's not specifically a spam label, we'll help guide you on how to find a solution for that. Again, we really want you to know that you have a Numeracle consultant by your side all the time.
And I just love the number check feature. Something that really piqued my attention was your comment that you made about real-time monitoring. There are other solutions out there that promise real-time, but like, what exactly does that mean, right? If you're putting in a request, are they running it right then and there? Are they being run at midnight during a busy call campaign? Are these real-time insights actually causing you more harm than good? Number check puts the control back into the hands of the client. It's a snapshot of your verified identity presentation precisely when you need it. Like all of the other tools that Numeracle offers, this tool is all about putting the client back in the driver's seat. Moving on. That was my little soapbox. I apologize. Branded calling seems to be a buzzword in the industry right now, but Numeracle has taken it to a whole new level. Allie, can you delve into how your smart branding process differs from conventional methods and how it empowers your clients to control their image more effectively?
So, Sarah, I think this really ties into what we've been discussing all along. It's not just a one-pronged approach. This is a thoughtful branded calling strategy. This is where it will come into play for us. So when we decide what to brand, it's crucial to consider many factors to maximize your ROI. It's not just about what looks good. It's about what works for your specific needs and goals. That could mean branding only the first call you make, specific numbers from certain departments, or even considering the timing and context of the calls. Our first priority, honestly, is to make sure that all of your numbers are clean from any negative labeling with our reputation management solution. Then we dive in deep with you, figure out exactly which numbers should carry your brand. It's like tailoring a suit. It has to fit you perfectly, and it has to make sense for your bottom line. We're an aggregator, so we work with all the carriers to ensure you're not only protected on all numbers across all of the major carriers, but we also handle all the nuances to get branded calling set up across the ecosystem.
And that I think this is something that not all reputation management providers get, right? Branded calling, branding your calls at all. It's not a silver bullet solution to this identity problem. It should be part of an end-to-end comprehensive strategy. Tailoring branding to specific departments, like you said, or even individual call attempts, and considering all of the factors, including, how you're going to maximize your ROI, I think demonstrates a level of understanding that goes beyond typical solutions. I'd love to move on to Numeracle's downloadable FCC Consumer Complaint Report, another great feature within the reputation management solution. Natalie, can you tell me a bit about how this report functions and how you envision clients utilizing this information to enhance their dialing practices?
Yeah, Sarah, no problem. This is such a great tool. It comes with our reputation management. It's no extra cost, but what we do is we give you access to registered complaints that have been made to the FCC on any numbers that you have registered with Numeracle. So you can see what consumers are reporting and adjust business practices if you need to. And we know that FCC complaints are factored into algorithms. It's not a one-for-one relationship. So one FCC complaint doesn't mean one spam label. But we do know that all of the analytics engines are ingesting this information and including it as part of their algorithm. So it's important, and it can help you adjust your dialing strategy if you notice that there's a lot of complaints coming through the FCC on one of your lines. And I think it really highlights how Numeracle's plugged into the regulatory landscape. We're always trying to be a cut above the rest in what we offer.
Totally agree. And I wanted to point out FCC Consumer Complaints, right? Anyone can submit one. The FCC has no way of verifying them, and you can't really have them removed. But what this does, having access to this data, adds another layer of understanding that businesses can leverage to ensure their identity remains protected, right? Maybe you take a look at this data, you get, you didn't even realize maybe someone is making a complaint, you have to update your dialing strategies or what have you. It's another way to make better decisions for your business. Speaking of data and analytics, what kind of reporting or dashboards are available to monitor the success of remediation efforts?
So visibility into the labeling status of your phone number is a big deal, and we make it simple and easy to navigate. Once you've got your numbers loaded into the portal, you can check back weekly and see their updated ratings, and you don't have to worry about wading through complex data. We've got it all organized for you in our visibility section. You'll see the ratings from all the major carriers laid out neatly in a chart. We've even translated their unique nomenclature into something you can understand at a glance. If you want to dive into the details, just double click on a number. You'll see exactly what's going on. And here's the best part. Once you're registered, 99.77% of your numbers will be free of spam. But what if a number does get a spam rating? Well, no worries. We've got you covered there too. All you have to do is head over to the remediation dashboard where you'll find all the details of our remediation efforts for that number. We'll show you when we submitted the remediation, what the rating was, and most importantly, the result. It's all there, clear and simple, with a few handy stats at the top just in case.
Wow, 99.77. That's about as close to 100% as you're going to get. So obviously what you see is what you get here. You have a 360-degree view into how your calls are being labeled, with a whole team dedicated to removing roadblocks for you. You're not only providing access to important data and dashboards, but I think what's even more is you're guiding clients through what to do with them. You're not just throwing these tools at them again. Natalie, can you give us a practical example of how clients use these tools to make data-driven decisions?
Yeah, absolutely. And reputation management is not just a term that we throw around. It's really a hands-on approach. These are really important business decisions you're making, and we want to work with you throughout that. So let's say you're running a bustling call center, really high call volumes, and you notice repeat labels on your numbers. You could take the approach of just always buying new numbers constantly, but that's not really going to help. And what's going to happen is if you do have the Numeracle service, you're going to see that the number's rated in the portal. We're going to jump into a strategy call with you. We're going to dive into what's happening. We're going to ask you a lot of questions about your dialing strategy, really try to uncover what some of those critical pieces might be that could be leading to those labels, and help you make some dialing strategy decisions. So we'll be looking at things like your dialer settings, lead recall strategy, number cycling strategy. There's really a lot of misconceptions out there about what is driving these spam labels. So we have a team full of experience in terms of helping clients work through those and making sure that they understand some of the myths and some of the truths about what actually might be driving those labels.
And it really is those extra touches that make the experience just so much better. Ali, would you mind, our Salesforce guru, would you mind telling us a little more about how Numeracle integrates with the Salesforce ticketing system?
Yeah, so the integration with the Salesforce ticketing system is an essential part of Numeracle's client support. It's like having a direct line to our clients. We receive your inquiries and we can really respond in real time. So the whole process is just so much smoother now because it's automated and it's easier for us to correspond with each other internally and our clients. That's how we like it at Numeracle, connecting and making things as easy as possible for you.
And it's great to see technology being leveraged in a way that enhances personal connections rather than diminishes them, in this age of technology. And I bet building these relationships makes the renewal process so much easier. Natalie, could you elaborate on that process, the process for annual compliance renewal with Numeracle?
Yeah, Sarah, it's really straightforward. Think of it as just really a quick checkup. We just want to make sure that everything's running smoothly. We want to make sure that everything that was in that trusted entity certification is still accurate. So we'll send that out to you. ask you to double check what's in there. And if anything needs to change, we can do the updates on that. And then also throughout the year, if anything needs to change, that's fine as well. You can email that dedicated client engagement rep and we can make those changes for you.
It must be so reassuring for clients to know that Numeracle is keeping a close eye on compliance. Like what another, another big headache that they don't necessarily have to worry about, such an administrative burden that you guys are taking care of. And I actually wanted to draw your attention to a recent customer testimonial we received. MarketWise is a global market intelligence and business advisory firm. They provide insights, analysis, and customized solutions to their clients to support them in making strategic business decisions. So connecting to their clients is absolutely crucial. I'm going to go ahead and just read this testimonial because I think it really reinforces everything you've been saying here today. We found Numeracle and thought it was too good to be true. Right after our first demo call, we knew Numeracle was exactly what we were looking for as a managed service dedicated to helping businesses negatively impacted by carrier analytics and algorithms to help us and with our reputation management at a reasonable price. The process has been simple and completely managed. We have this full testimony available at numeracle.com. You can find it listed with our other blog articles, and I'll also include it in the follow-up email. As if we needed further proof that Numeracle is really here to do what they say they're going to do, we have this customer testimonial illustrating the very point we're trying to make. Numeracle was the first, and we continue to be the best at what we do, which is protect the good guys. Take a breath. Okay, today was just brimming with insight and information. We kind of threw a lot at you. I do want to take some time for questions if we have any. I do see we have one question here. Natalie, I'm going to throw this one to you. What is your average response time to address issues from customers? Good one.
Yeah, that's a great question. So when a request is sent into our support team, there's a case number assigned, there's a case number sent right back to you so that you know that we've got it. And following that, our team is really working on it in near real time. So there's a variety of cases that could come in. So the average response time would range from maybe a couple hours to 3 days. And that really does depend on the request. So let's say you sent in maybe a request for just something simple in the portal. You needed some numbers loaded or a user added. We can handle that in a matter of minutes. If your request is more related to remediation and it needs a little bit more time to handle and we have to reach out to the analytics engines, that might take a little bit longer and might be 2 or 3 days for us to resolve that one. But honestly, work begins on cases as soon as we get them. There's a dedicated client engagement rep to your account. So as soon as things are coming in, they're working on it right away.
All right. Thank you so much. That was such a great answer. Let's see. Can you speak to the expertise of the team advising on health check calls? Natalie, I'll go ahead and give this one to you. Can you speak to the expertise of the team advising on health check calls? Am I getting someone who has worked in a contact center or just someone you trained?
No, that's a great question. And anybody that would be on one of those health check calls has worked in a contact center, either third party or first party, has extensive experience working through dialing strategies, dialer settings. And what's interesting is the team comes all from call center, but from different sides of the call center business, but everybody has worked on the client side, but also on the more technical side. So working with campaign setups, maybe even as technical as really detailed dialer setups and running the dialer. So everybody that you're speaking with has actually done the same or similar role as someone on your team that's trying to make sure that everything's efficient. And so we have a lot of experience to help understand what some of those settings might be that correlate down to what's happening on the labeling side of things.
Thank you so much. Wait, make sure no more are going to come in. We'll give you guys a second. Of course, always, if you do, let this marinate for a little bit and you have questions, we'll be sending a follow-up email. It'll be so easy to get in touch with these folks. Okay, but before we say goodbye, I wanted to draw your attention to just a few of the resources we mentioned and have available. All of those who attended today should look for a follow-up email from Allie with quick links to these resources and an opportunity to connect with her one-on-one. Numeracle.com hosts all of our case studies, industry white papers, blog posts, our Tuesday Talks live podcast. We have some Numeracle masterclasses and so many more resources at numeracle.com. So please feel free to check us out there as well. Before we go, I wanted to provide the contact information, just in case, cover all of our bases for both of our industry experts from today's webinar. Allie and Natalie are the client support gurus, and they'd be happy to chat with you or introduce you to another member of our team, depending on what you're looking for. Allie and Natalie, thank you so much for stopping by to take us through Numeracle's client relationship roadmap and share exactly what it is that makes Numeracle so special. I do have one final question. Allie, I'll throw this one to you. What's the one thing you want attendees to take away from today's webinar?
I think most importantly, Sarah, we just want you to know that, we're here for you, whether it's a detailed walkthrough during our onboarding process, a full training session during the launch call, even a detailed strategy session, or just a quick email that you need a response on. We're super responsive and we're super excited to work with your team. We don't just set you up and forget about you. We're constantly working on your behalf. That said, you don't even really have to hire a spam specialist, because once you engage Numeracle, we are working for you. You don't need to take any action to ensure that your numbers are constantly monitored, protected, or remediated, because we've got you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And to all of those who joined us today, thank you. We had a blast. Keep a lookout for Allie's email, and see you next time.